Tonight on Podcast Them Down, we begin our odyssey through the entire Judas Priest studio catalog. Cast them down. Hail, Metal Nation! It is I, Tim. That is Kent. And Red-Faced Liar, they're joining me. Ever since last May, when we listened to all Iron Maiden, and it revealed the truth about Iron Maiden, that they're, in fact, incompetent songwriters who were very lucky in the 80s. Perhaps I'm misremembering, but that's what I took away from it. We decided we're going to have to explore other bands' catalogs, so we are continuing with the Judas Priest. And this episode is just Rocka Rolla. The first
the album you've wanted to hear dissected on this show since we began. Here it is.
All right. I think it's great. All right. Thanks for joining us. Let's get our shit together first. Are we keeping track of scores like we did for Maiden?
We sure fucking are, man.
Okay,
but it's a simpler score. It's just one score. Or did we do metal and quality?
We had a whole different codex for that.
Who knows?
But we got to the emotional truth of Iron Maiden, and that's what counts. We went mad at the end. I don't think Priest will be the same, but we don't know that yet.
That's
okay.
True.
It looks to me like we just had ratings. So, like one number. We agreed on one number. So I believe that's what we'll do again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably help this album if we don't have to rate the metalness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for this one though. All right, I'm getting the. See, I made notes. I made lots of notes. I did more prep than ever, but now I can't really read them because I gotta keep track of these scores as well. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm about to delete the word senjutsu. Oh, that felt great. Oh my god.
All right, I could do a 10,000 foot description of Priest in this record, and then you can immediately correct me.
Oh yeah, let's go for it. I got all sorts of trivia here.
All right, so Judas Priest was founded in about was it 69 or 70?
It was 1969. Can you guess?
Bro.
Yeah. Can you guess what city, Matt?
Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Alabama. That's right.
Originally a Lynyrd Skynyrd cover band, Judas Priest.
Yeah. So I think the like KK and
nope.
Ian Hill. They were in a band called Freight, I believe. And then they joined forces with Al Atkins, who brought the name Judas Priest from the former band.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then at some point he left. And then they get Ian Hill's sister's Halford, someone's brother. And then Halford comes in the band.
Allow me to jump in.
Okay.
Al Atkins, along with Bruno Stapenhill and John Perry and John Fedza Partridge, formed a band called Judas Priest. Okay. Long story short, they disbanded. The name came from Bob Dylan's song, The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest.
Okay.
Okay. No one in that original Judas Priest lineup played on any recordings. But Al Atkins, the original singer, co-wrote a few songs that did make it through Judas Priest. All right. So then late in 1970, Atkins found Freight, which had, you're correct, it had KK Downing and Ian Skull Hill on bass.
He must be referred to as Ian Skull Hill from now on.
Yep. Hey, it's Skull! It's funny because he has like way more skull now than he used to. Visible, at least.
Is that a bald joke?
Yes.
Because I don't like it.
Yeah, because he's like 90. Not quite, but no, yeah. Hey there, Skull. We'll call you Skull. So Al Atkins brought his band name over, and their first gig was on March 6th, 1971.
The heavy blues scene.
Yeah, they
of the Midlands.
They covered Hendrix and had other blues stuff. And in 1972, they had the originals Never Satisfied Winter and the show closer Caviar and Meths.
Okay. All right.
I take it a meth is something different than what we think of today.
Oh, I think it's mathematics, because they call mathematics maths. So there's a band called the Mathematics in Baltimore, in East Baltimore.
Okay.
Get it?
I
Because it's
get it.
methamphetamine. Okay. So then, do you know where John Hinch, the drummer who ended up on Rocka Rolla, and Rob Halford came from?
They came from a different band, right?
Unfortunately named
The Ruddles?
Oh, it is something weird, isn't it?
It's Hiroshima.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
That's offensive and like blunt in a way that is exactly appropriate for 1969 in working class England. I'll defend that.
All right, so Rob Halford was Ian Hill's girlfriend's brother. What? Oh, Skull.
Skull.
Rob Halford was Skull's girlfriend's brother.
Skull's girlfriend's brother. Okay.
And they played their first show with Judas Priest in 1973 at the Townhouse in Wellington. I'm a fan of their beef.
Yeah. I'm a fan of their... that's all.
Not Wellington, New Zealand. There's also a Wellington
this is the Duke
in Middle England.
Right. And somewhere in there, they joined the management agency, the Iommi Management Agency.
What? So there
As
are
in
nobody,
Tony Iommi.
So they're a nobody nothing band, but they have like a major manager?
Well, they weren't. They achieved what Wikipedia described as a cult following. Okay. So take that as you will. But they were also touring internationally by 1974.
Okay, but I mean that's not impressive for England. It's like, we went to France.
Yeah, they went to like Belgium.
Yeah, that's like a DC band touring to North Carolina.
So, they signed with a record label. They had demos, but they signed with Gull Records, Gull, and they suggested they add a fifth member. So,
the records guys did.
Yeah, this sounds like Spinal Tap at this point, but.
I'm pretty sure this is Spinal Tap.
There was another band on Iommi's agency that had Glenn Tipton in it. Do you know what that band's name was? What's that?
Trapeze.
This says the Flying Hat Band.
Oh God.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
I skimmed over a lot, so Trapeze could have been in there as well. But
it was an alternate name for something, but yeah. And he's a little bit older than the rest of them.
When did that? I didn't look up their ages. When did that Bond movie with the guy who threw his hat come out?
Oh, Odd Job.
From?
That
Sean
is
Cullen,
from-
he's a comedian, pointed
It
out
was
that
right
pointed out
around.
that you could
Was it
just-
73?
No, it's earlier than that. It's in Goldfinger. It's 64.
Oh, so maybe that's what it's from. Sean Cullen points out that you can just step out of the way of a flying hat, and it's not really that dangerous. All right.
I recall that movie gratuitously mentions Baltimore.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch
right.
it. That's why there's so many flying hats in Baltimore.
I don't remember which one it is, but I unless I dreamed this, there is Sean Connery passes through BWI in one of them. I feel like it's a different one, though that doesn't make sense.
It must,
All right,
I don't
well-
even think BWI was built yet.
Well, it was Baltimore Friendship.
Okay, that's true.
After we finish Judas Priest, we're gonna have to watch through all the Sean Connery Bonds.
Yeah.
Decide which one's the most metal.
And we
Yeah,
get to
there's-
fight whether or not it's living daylights counts.
All right, so Rocka Rolla, first album comes out. It was recorded June through July 1974, released on September 6th. Just for context, Black Sabbath already had 4 albums out. Iron Maiden doesn't come around until 1980. And Sabbath Bloody Sabbath comes out like right after this, like 2 months after this comes out.
And this is probably when the term heavy metal, the whole concept was still anamorphous, interchangeable with hard rock. And I would believe most of these bands would call themselves blues bands at some level. And so you had Sabbath, you had Zeppelin, you had Deep Purple, and all those earlier bands that I don't know as well as I should. And this they recorded with Roger Bain, who was the closest thing the world had to a metal producer, who did at least the first 4 Sabbath records.
Yep.
But if I recall, like can't pronounce the name, Chris Tigantries is an engineer here. He'd later produce Painkiller.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
And then Tom Allen is a engineer or producer here, and he would produce all their 80s stuff.
Wow, they all got in on the ground floor. Wait, they did all this on Rocka Rolla and stuck around?
Unless I'm confusing, I'm only thinking of Sad Wings, but I'm pretty sure I read that. It's also was true here.
Yeah, we can figure that out. So the lineup: Rob Halford on vocals and harmonica.
Well, that's what you need in a metal band.
Well, Ozzy had
again-
done it.
Again, metal is amorphous at the moment. And today, amorphous isn't metal. So
I see what you did there.
I have a thing for that. All right. So, Glenn Tipton on guitars, backing vocals, and synthesizers. And then KK Downing guitar, Skull on bass, and John Hinch on drums. The lineup. The track list, I mean. That was the lineup. The track list: One for the Road, Rocka Rolla, Winter, Deep Freeze, Winter Retreat, Cheater, Never Satisfied, Run of the Mill, Dying to Meet You / Hero Hero, and Caviar and Meths. And that is it. If you have another track, you're wrong. That is not on Rocka Rolla.
Wait a minute. Here on Apple Music, I see another track. Don't I?
You're wrong.
Oh, fuck.
You're wrong. That's not on Rocka Rolla. So that was a 1987 remaster bonus track, and it was recorded in 1975.
What?
Yeah,
Is-
and so that's
is it
Diamonds
the-
and Rust, Joan
Yeah.
Baez cover, and it's not the one that everyone knows. It's a different recording.
But still a electric rock version. We'll talk about at some point in the next month about my irritation with their acoustic version of that song.
Okay.
So Halford and Downing wrote the vast majority of the album. with the exceptions of Winter by Al Atkins, Downing, and Ian Hill. Sorry, Skull. And then Never Satisfied by Atkins and Downing, Caviar and Meth's Atkins, Downing, Hill. Tipton contributed to Run of the Mill.
This KK Downing guy seems like a pretty good songwriter. I wonder what a solo album him would sound like.
And I believe Tipton brought some songs that would become like Tyrant and a few classics on the next record that they just pocketed and didn't put on this album.
Yeah, so the Roger Bain, the producer, wouldn't let him, did not accept Tyrant, Epitaph, or Ripper because they were not commercial enough and rejected them.
Well, I hope that guy's enjoying being dumb and poor.
He also rejected Whiskey Woman, which became Victim of Changes on the next album.
Wow.
Yeah, so all those songs ended up on Sad Wings of Destiny, but that's a different episode.
Yeah, that's next week.
I'm glad he left all these commercial tracks.
I know.
Well, everyone knows fucking One for the Road, and no one knows the Ripper.
Dying to meet you.
To refresh my memory, I'm listening to the album right now, and I just feel like I'm listening to nothing but like car commercials and like talk show rejoinder music. It's just like classic track after classic commercial hit.
That's right.
Well, and then that cover, which was fairly acclaimed, if I recall, is a rejected cover from the Rolling Stones or something.
Yes. So the artwork, I have that here somewhere. Let me just find it. The original Bottle Cap album cover. So now when they re-released it, they changed the cover into a more Judas Priest cover.
Yeah.
But this one is, it was intended by designer John Pash for use with an unspecified Rolling Stones album.
What Rolling Stones album could it be?
And was it going to be called Rocka Rolla? That's what I want to know. Like, did they have the art, then they wrote the song?
It's got to be that. I feel like the bottle cap itself isn't interesting enough as an artwork without the Rocka Rolla.
Yeah. And
I almost need, you're right.
They said something about there was a lawsuit with Coca-Cola involved as well, but
holy shit. Yeah. 1974, 12th studio album by the Rolling Stones. It's only rock and roll. This shit was supposed to be rock and rolla.
Well, there were we'll get to a song by song breakdown in a minute, but there were technical problems in the studio resulting in poor sound quality and a hiss throughout the album. Now I did notice the hiss, but not until the second side.
Thank you, spatial audio.
But then once I heard it, like you can go back and hear it all over the place.
The bell can't be unrung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
wasn't the record recorded close to live?
Yeah, so they basically just jammed in the studio to save money instead of multi-tracking it.
And I gotta say, it sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, like it sounds, I don't want to say raw, but it sounds rough, but in a good way.
Yeah, like the first Black Sabbath record, which I think is recorded the same way, essentially.
I believe it's called Roxy.
So let's see. The original UK LP has a longer version of Rocka Rolla than the version used on the US LP and most CDs. Okay. It has an extra verse and chorus at the beginning of the song.
All right. Well, that's great.
Yeah, but think about this. This was tape days. You know how easy it is to remove a verse and a chorus now? is so easy.
Okay.
But in
that's
those
true.
days, some guy had to sit there with a razor blade. You had to really want to get rid of him.
Clamp it and
And like literally slice it and tape the tape back together.
Well, I mean, in his defense, it was the 70s, so he probably already had the razor blade.
The very first rare the very rare first printing of the UK LP has the words "Thanks for the words, Al," printed last in the credits in a blue circle on the back of the cover. This, presumably a reference to the original singer, Al Atkins, has been removed on other versions of the Gull vinyl. Whoops.
seems like a liability.
They credited him. He's credited. Let's see. We'll talk about this this next bit when we go track by track. But some of the songs are not distinct songs. They just kind of go. All right. This has the longest track until Cathedral Spires on Jugulator, called Run of the Mill. It's 8 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah.
And then Loch Ness was the longest one on Angel of Retribution, but you know, we'll get to that in a couple weeks, months. So then, if you've ever seen that hilarious old footage of Judas Priest when they're all like hippied out, that's from this era. So in 1975, they played the Old Grey Whistle test on British TV, and they played Rocka Rolla, and they're all dressed like hippies. And it was described as very hippified, as journalist Malcolm Dome put it. This footage was included on the Electric Eye DVD, which is definitely how I saw it.
Yep.
Yep. I don't even have that. Doug has it and made me watch it one day, and it was great. So I'm going to have to buy that. Dead air. But I'm listening to the album right now, too. So the drummer was dismissed the year after this came out because he was musically inadequate for the band's future plans.
I really like the drumming on this record. I mean, it's so blunt and just is what it is. Very straightforward. You know,
I think it fits perfectly, which, you know, but they clearly had a direction in mind that was metal. So, okay. Let's go track by track.
All right.
On this blues album.
Well, you know, it really is a blues album. I must say, if I was to classify what musical genre this is, I would say it's heavy progressive blues.
and
I have to pull up my other notes now.
There's like some acid prog in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like, but mostly it's just straight ahead. Chun chut chun chut da 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 chun chut 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 da 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 da.
So
that's the album,
One
kids.
for the Road, the opening track, as well as Rocka Rolla. They're just blues songs with the occasional Halford power. You know?
Yeah.
He's just like singing kind of normally, and then every so often he'll hit that note with the strength behind it, you know? Like he always had. It's not like Metallica where his talent, like James Hetfield had to build his talent over the albums. No, Halford started there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's maybe the songs on the side B are newer, but like he really comes to life in those last tracks, and in these first tracks, it's much more straightforward rock singing.
Yeah, I bet that was a commercial decision. Like, you boys need to catch them early, and then you can do your arty shit on the back. But instead, they did their arty shit on the front too.
Yeah, the least cohesive suite ever.
So you'll remember in the recent-ish KK Downing drama that he claims he's the one who wanted twin guitars in Judas Priest. But they definitely started doing the twin guitar thing early. I believe Thin Lizzy was the one who really popularized it for rock. But they came out of the Judas Priest came out of the gate doing like call and response on the two lead guitars. They even do the Maiden formula 6 years before Iron Maiden did. When you play a line, and then when you play it again, you do it a third up. But I'm not positive, but I think Judas Priest added a new layer because when they did it again, they did it a fourth up.
Whoa.
So it was neat. So, yeah, and they also did stereo. I don't know what version I'm listening to. I don't know if they remixed it at all, but there was some stereo.
And it's very pronounced and noticeable separation. Yeah. And for this being the record we're about to discuss, there's an awful lot interesting going on, and things you can see them draw from much later, and like doesn't all fit perfectly, but like this is not the typical first record in that sense.
I'd agree with that.
So after the two blues songs and Winter is the next track. It's a suite of songs, Winter, Deep Freeze, and Winter Retreat. And that's when it turns into like a Pink Floyd acid trip, like weird thing. Now, the version I have that I was listening to, I think is from iTunes because it also glommed Cheater onto this.
Yeah.
Which is such bullshit.
And they do, I think they all blend together. Those four songs, Winter, Deep Freeze, Winter Retreat, and Cheater, but Cheater has nothing to do with any of this Winter stuff. So,
yeah, the Winter is three interrelated songs. The vocals are all connect. Yeah, very proggy. Do they credit a keyboardist? For some reason, it's very hard rock to include keyboards and then never credit anyone for playing them.
Glenn Tipton played the synthesizers.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're also very 70s, like analog, obviously analog, just like weird shit going on. And then you know how Manowar has that bass solo on every album that's just awful? KK Downing does the like weird guitar effects for, I think, Deep Freeze. And that's not bad. It's just weird. Like, I'd rather listen to that than Joey DeMaio's diarrhea solos.
Well, I suppose there's a pretentious music language I don't know to describe this, but they're using the guitars to create atmosphere in a way that's very 70s that isn't really metal overall. Like they're creating this space of winter, depression, and the music is the guitars are very actively creating the vibe.
Yeah. Yes, however, I would say that Norwegian black metal did it better.
Also true.
All right. So, Cheater is about a cheater. It's very but it's back to like the bluesy rock stuff. All right.
It's pretty fucking violent. The dude gets the guy, his girlfriend or wife, he walks in after a hard day of work, and she's in the bed with some guy. So he grabs a 44 and walks in the room. And the song doesn't say what happens. It's very blues.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a redone version of Whiskey in the Jar.
Mm-hmm. Jarro, please.
Or was it the Wild Rope? No, it was Whiskey in the Jar. Okay, so that is side one of the vinyl. It ends with Cheater. Side two starts with Never Satisfied, which, back to blues, some more experimental guitar. They do a weird slowdown at the end of the song, but it ends with like classic Rob Halford high note with the power. I'm not even going to pretend to try.
Oh, come on. Give it a little try.
And they've played.
Yeah. Woo!
They've played Never Satisfied recently. I think
really?
It's the only song that's true of.
I'm going to have to look this up.
I mean, I would. So Rocka Rolla, Never Satisfied, and Cheater start to feel like the Priest we know.
There's inklings at least.
Definitely. Let's see. Artist statistics by album. They've played throughout the course of their career. They played songs off Rocka Rolla 223 times. That's more times than one other album. Do you want to guess what it is? At 201 times.
Is this including Demolition?
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's Demolition.
Oh, wow.
Is that they probably played 3 to 4 songs from Demolition across 2 tours, and that's that.
Yeah, the bottom 3 are a Ripper sandwich with Rocka Rolla. It's Jugulator, Rocka Rolla, Demolition. They played Never Satisfied the most, followed by Rocka Rolla, One for the Road, Cheater, Dying to Meet You, Winter. They did do Caviar and Meths. They've only played Winter Retreat once.
But they played the rest of the that's interesting.
I'm not seeing Deep Freeze, which is the weird experimental thing. Okay.
I thought the crowd wanted that in 74. Anyway.
All right, next song, Run of the Mill. That's the long one at 8.5 minutes.
Okay.
A good Sabbath riff in there.
Yeah, this also has a bunch of clean guitar, and this is where I started hearing the hiss.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's like right at the front. So if you want to look for the hiss, it's at the beginning of that, and you might have, and then once you hear it, this is your warning. Once you hear it, you're going to start hearing it basically anytime it gets quiet. Anytime there's space, you'll hear this hiss.
Well, and this song is just inexcusably long. Like, there's no reason for this to be 8 minutes.
Yeah, they have a really long solo section that doesn't really need to be there. And they're, the whole thing's kind of mellow and slow.
I don't think so. I do think so.
All right. Next, Dying to Meet You and Hero Hero. It's another slow one. Oh, this is the one. This is the one where it sounds like Halford's trying to do it's like a kid trying to do an impression of an adult. You just gotta hear it to understand. It's like,
that's okay. Accurate. I just decided that's accurate. Yep.
Yeah. So it starts heavy, then it goes clean for no reason.
Yeah. Like sort of, it's not abrupt, but it's just, oh, I guess this is what you're doing now. Like
the lyrics on this record are interesting. I mean, clearly they're bluesy overall, but they're pretty darn dark for an album called Rocka Rolla with that cover.
Good point. Hey, we're a fun band.
Hey, are you guys ready to get fucked up and have fun?
Song's called Deep Freeze and it's a bunch of weird shit.
Darkness in everything I see and feel. Unending pain.
All right, so then, this picks up about 2/3 of the way through. More twin guitars. And then the album closer, Caviar and Meths. Instrumental.
And it's like, why is that here?
Yeah, it is weird. It's just like, if it sounds like part of a longer song, that's because it is.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense then.
It's like they're contractually obligated to cross the 35-minute mark to be considered a full length.
Like, I thought I had zoned out and skipped something, so I'm glad that's not the case.
It was originally a 14-minute song
What?
by Atkins, Downing, and Hill, but due to time constraints, I assume in the studio, only the intro was recorded for the album.
Only the intro?
Yep. That it fades out, and then you're like, that was weird.
Well,
and then you move on to Sad Wings of Destiny.
And I think Adkins recorded 7 minutes of it.
Yep. So I was going there in 98 on Atkins's album Victim of Changes. Oh, he sounds bitter. He recorded a 7-minute one. He also recorded covers. It's funny that this calls them covers, but technically they are, even though he wrote them, Winter and Never Satisfied.
It would be interesting how much he borrowed from the whatever they did in the studio or rearrangement.
That is a good question. All right, so how do you think the album did, Matt?
I mean, well, it's from 1974, so that factors in. I can't say it was anything what I thought it would be.
But definitely not.
I also can't say I would necessarily dislike it. I mean, I would have to be in a particular mood. Like, I felt if I was like, I've been in this situation, but if I was like in a sweltering Southeast Asian hotel room, like dying of malaria, and this was just kind of on in the background, like I think it would, like, I just imagine myself like the sun is coming through like my too thin curtains, and I'm just like, I want to fucking die. Like, I feel like this would be a good soundtrack for that. It's very much of its time. It's not bad. I don't think I'll be adding this to the hot rotation, but I appreciate that I listened to it. I'm glad it exists.
It's interesting to me that you have that visualization, because I'm picturing walking into like a shitty rundown bar in like Alabama that they banned smoking because they had to, but you can tell everyone used to smoke there.
I think it's very much the same kind of aesthetic. It's grungy.
Yeah.
It's not good for your health. You're probably made a chain of bad decisions that got you there. Like, you didn't set out to be there, but now you're there.
So commercially, remember they rejected all the non-commercial songs. Commercially, how do you think it did?
There's a lot of good music in 1974.
There is.
I would say that this was a top 12,000 album in the UK.
Rocka Rolla flopped upon release.
Oh.
Leaving Priest in dire financial straits. They attempted to secure a deal with Gull Records to get a monthly pay of
$20?
50 pounds.
50 pounds! Holy shit!
Monthly for the 5 of them.
How much was...
However, because Gull Records were struggling as well, they declined.
What? Wow.
50 pounds. That's 10 pounds per member per week. Per month.
Let's see. So, 50 pounds is equivalent to 653 pounds today. 650 pounds in USD is...
I'll avoid the commentary.
It's $821 divided by 4.
5
divided by 5. That is not great. Hey, record label, can we please have $160 each a month? That is no bueno, man.
You could totally eat on that, though.
Oh, you can eat on it.
It's all beans and ramen, but you can eat on it.
Yeah.
Just stay with your sister's boyfriend. And,
that's right.
Yeah.
When's the
Hope the
Judas
van
Priest
doesn't
biopic
break.
coming out? No, I don't mean the one with Marky Mark. Who was in that horrible Hobby Lobby commercial? Oh my God!
Oh no! You're wrong. You're wrong. He was in the Catholic Church commercial, the Rosary app. Marky Mark is a proud member of the Catholic Church.
Did you know he's from Boston?
Oh, the first time hearing of it. I'm surprised he wasn't in the Boston commercial. Like they just had a commercial for the city of Boston. I don't even get it.
Oh, dear.
Hey, get some Dunkin' and fuck you. Welcome to Boston.
There are reasons, but it irks me how Boston's smaller than Baltimore, yet we have to hear about it endlessly.
We should be hearing about Balmer endlessly.
Exactly. Instead, we just have Under Armour and their fascist commercials.
Wait, are there in-app purchases on this Rosary app?
Yeah, you can buy
Indulgences.
indulgences. Thank you. We all had the same joke, but
That's great.
you're the only one who could put it together in time.
That's amazing.
Okay, so your score. Our score, because there's only one score.
Oh, yeah, there's only one score.
Oh, that's right.
Rocka Rolla. What do you want to rate this album?
Well, I think you guys hit it on the head in that it's like not satisfying to directly listen to it, but if it's just sort of playing, it's great. It's such a great vibe, and then you just tune into particular moments. It's surprisingly interesting like that.
You can hear all the Judas Priest ingredients.
It's like
They're just not mixed together yet.
it's like seeing one of the going to the museum and seeing one of those lobe-finned fish, and it's like I can kind of see how this is gonna be a frog soon, but it's not a frog yet.
Right, it's something else, and it's fine, but it's fine for what it is.
Yeah,
but and you can definitely see the direction and the talent.
Oh, precisely. Yeah, it's there. It's getting there.
It's got 3 or 4 pretty successful songs.
Oh man, sorry, I had to turn off my my injection of this album in my head because it just started with the bonus track Diamonds and Rust.
Oh, let's talk about that after we've cleanly scored this record.
Right, and I don't want it affecting my score because it's going to make it jump.
Please.
All right.
I'd support somewhere between a 3 and a 5 out of 10.
Out of 10.
See, okay. I was thinking 5 exactly because it's perfectly 5.
Yeah.
But if you were to chart it over time, there's some 3 moments on there for me. I'll average it out to a 4. So I think a 4 is a good place for this album.
I'd say peaks at a 6. Like the peaks are it's functional, but still pretty low.
I think that's fair. I mean, I would say I would still listen to this album versus many Iron Maiden albums released in the past 20 years. Again, there are some fine moments. I'm okay with a 5 or a 4, but I'll be generous and give it a 5. I agree.
How about, should we do 4.5 then? Or are we feeling generous?
I think 5, it's a good example of what it is. I don't know that what it is Judas Priest, but there's an idea there. I do think, for example, that Meths and Caviar would be good as the first track, and then maybe you add a 12-minute track on that side. Just split-balling. But it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it does. The artwork is iconic, so I think we got to acknowledge that and just go with a 5.
All right.
And while it's more boring, paradoxically, this is also less boring than the first Iron Maiden record.
That is actually a fantastic point.
Let's see if I can get the new There's the new artwork.
I mean, I'm giving that a 10 right there. That
On its way.
And there's so Gull Records the band would describe as very sleazy. There's been this whole cottage industry of just re-releasing this and Sad Wings endlessly.
Yeah, I have one of the re-releases of Sad Wings.
And there's like there's a strange record called Hero Hero, which features all of the songs on this record remixed slightly, and then like 5 songs off of Sad Wings. I think they just wanted to sell like a 2-disc compilation, even though it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, honestly, if I saw that and saw this album named Rocktodactyl, it would be my favorite album.
Yeah, well, this other artwork doesn't really make sense to me. It has the new Judas Priest logo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like right now on Rocka Rolla, it's like they got a Raceway font.
Yeah,
well, I was give them points for conceptual continuity. I think the line under the scoring Judas Priest is on all of their logos until Jugulator. I never noticed that.
Yeah, me neither. Then the re-release has like that old Englishy font, saying Judas Priest, and it's got a like half robot, half man thing with these robot wings, and he's like reaching for a triple sword, and he's holding bombs, and he's flying in the sky, and he has a tail, and it's just, what does that have to do with rock and roll?
Everything?
Oh, and nothing. All right, let's talk about Sad Wings. No, not Sad Wings. Diamonds and Rust.
I mean, that's a fucking rockin' song for a Joan Baez song.
Yeah, it's a fantastic cover, and it has to be acknowledged that this song was very new. I would say that album when we came out, her recording, and we came out 71, 72, 73, sometime in there. And they do a good job of depersonalizing the song, which is about her and Bob Dylan, without really rewriting any of the lyrics anyway. And it's a great rock rendition of an acoustic song.
It was written in November 1974, so after Rocka Rolla came out.
That's interesting.
Came out in 75. I guess they loved it, so they recorded it. Just to be clear, we're only discussing it here because it's the bonus track on the reissue.
Yeah, so. Very, very important point.
And I haven't listened to them side by side, but this is a much worse recording than the Sin After Sin. So very flat.
But it still like has more energy
than the rest of the record. Yeah.
And this, I think, compared to a lot of the tracks, maybe not all the tracks, but most of the tracks on the album proper, I feel like this progresses beyond like the bluesy aspect and has like that giddy up, like proto kind of power, like thrumming, you know?
Yeah. It's got a lot of drive for a Joan Baez cover. Like, it's a great cover in that sense. And I'll probably just talk about this 6 times, but they started to do either, I think, very occasionally a fully acoustic version of this song, or like acoustic into electric. And it just, the Joan Baez song is beautiful and brilliant, and starts off with acoustic parts not in the Priest song at all. And it's just no comparison. Like their simplified version of it doesn't work side by side with the original when played acoustically.
Yeah, I'm listening to the Joan Baez song now. This is nothing like that. This is a whole different universe right here. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good song both ways, but they really made that their own. I mean, if you didn't tell me this was a Joan Baez song, I'd be like, this is the first Judas Priest song, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know that either, because the first Priest I got on vinyl was Unleashed in the East, which I believe has that on there. And I for the longest time I didn't know it was a cover.
And I think for a lot of people that's pretty much true of because they've done maybe 4 covers I can think of. There's Green Manalici's Fleetwood. Yep. And then there's I think Spooky Tooth song. Is that Better Than You, Better By Me?
Yep.
And then their Johnny Be Good, which I think is literally just the chorus. It's technically different music if you listen to it. And that's their bad one nobody talks about now.
It's your cousin
Blind
Marvin
Guardian
Berry.
did a bad cover of it too.
You should listen to this.
Go, Johnny, go, go, go.
All right, well, does that wrap it up for Rocka Rolla?
I think it does.
All right, then. Well, it is currently in the lead for the best Judas Priest album.
You better watch out, other Judas Priest albums.
All right, we're going to be doing this for like 3 months.
It's also currently in the lead for the best Iron Maiden album.
Oh, I need to fix this title on this because it says Iron Maiden ratings. Nah, I'll fix it later. All right. Next time, Metal Nation, Sad Wings of Destiny.
Cast them down.
I thought we were going to be talking about a Guy Ritchie film.